Top 10 times Amber Heard's legal team embarrassed her Part 2. Hi, I'm your host Bridget Shields, and today we're looking at all the moments in the trial where Heard's legal team tripped up and publicly embarrassed her. Number 10. Questionable statements. While addressing the jurors, the actress's attorney Benjamin Rottenborn explained how Heard's involvement in allegedly Depp should not matter in the jury's verdict. Rottenborn said, quote, "There's been testimony about what happened to cut the finger off, but frankly, it's irrelevant to your deliberations here. Amber could have chopped it off with an axe, and it has nothing to do with whether or not Mr. Depp assaulted her. She didn't, but it doesn't matter." Rottenborn insinuated that the jury's verdict should favor Heard, even if the actress cut off Depp's finger in the controversial 2015 incident in Australia. The attorney suggested that it did not matter whose side of the claims were true regarding Depp's severed fingertip. Not only that, but Rottenborn proceeded to accuse that most of the witnesses produced by Depp's legal team were under the actor's payroll. While many found the statement to be uncanny as per the lawsuit, the main deciding factor is whether either party is guilty of defamation of the other. The whole thing was an attempt at a really strange hypothetical argument. Number 9. Ice cream photo. Heard's legal team produced a photo of Depp asleep on the couch with ice cream spilt across his lap. Explaining the photo, Depp said that he had worked a 17-hour day and taken certain substances where Heard gave him the ice cream because she knew what was going to happen. He said the photo had been taken in Boston and that Heard asked him to hold the ice cream as she noticed that he was falling asleep from the 17-hour day that he worked, and also the substances that he had ingested. He also added that if you'll notice, his right hand is in his pocket, so he wasn't participating in the festival of ice cream. Depp said that he was holding her ice cream because she knew what was going to happen, that he would fall asleep and it would drop, and that a wonderful picture would be taken for her. Mr. Rottenborn asked Depp if it was her fault that the photo had been taken, and Depp said that she snapped it. Showing this photo to the jury made it very obvious that Heard's legal team was trying to paint Depp as an addict, but it really backfired on them when he explained to the jury exactly how the photo was staged by Heard. Number 8. The Mega Pint. In the video taken by Heard, which was first published online in 2016 by TMZ, Depp is seen kicking cabinets and cursing in the kitchen of his West Hollywood home. Heard can be heard asking, quote, "What happened?" in the video, as Depp grabbed a glass out of the cabinet and smashed it closed, appearing to break a part of the door. Depp is seen pouring himself wine into the glass and telling Heard, "You want to see crazy? I'll give you crazy," before he sees the camera and grabs it. After showing the video, Heard's lawyer, Ben Rottenborn, asked Depp whether he poured himself, quote, "a mega pint of wine." Depp repeated the question in a tone of disbelief to laughter in the courtroom. He then clarified that he did in fact pour himself a large glass of wine because he felt that it was necessary. This was just another ridiculous moment from Depp's cross-examination. Number 7. Forgot her client's name. Elaine Bredehoft is at it again. From the start of the trial, it was evident that she was in over her head. Heard seemed like a challenging client with some brutal things to defend, but Bredehoft seemed to drop the ball every time it was passed to her. When it finally came time for Bredehoft to call Heard to the stand, she called her by her middle name first. She completely messed up the name of her client. Not a good way to take the stand. This slip-up, however small, really cemented the public's opinion of Heard's defense team, and it clearly embarrassed her. It also made Bredehoft just seem frazzled and all over the place. Number 6. Imitating Depp. The intensity of the defamation trial lessened for a moment when the actress's attorney briefly imitated the Pirates of the Caribbean star while questioning her client on the stand, saying, quote, "I'm gonna start at the very beginning here. You were asked by Ms. Vasquez about why Mr. Depp won't or can't look you in the eye. She proceeded to play a tape in which Mr. Depp said, 'You will not see my eyes again.' When recalling the actor's comment, Bredehoft lowered her voice to a deeper register, which elicited a laugh from even Depp himself. Depp kept his head down throughout his ex-wife's time on the stand, writing notes with a serious look on his face. When Heard's attorney deepened her voice to mimic his, however, Depp cracked a smile and laughed. This moment made it sound like Bredehoft was poking fun at the actor by mimicking him, something that Depp's defense team would never be able to get away with if it was done to Heard. Number 5. I'm trying. Lawyers need to have good poker faces. It's a huge aspect of what they do. So for Bredhoff to essentially sigh out loud and mumble that she is trying to a courtroom of people was by definition one of the most bizarre moments of all. Never wear your defeat on your sleeve. This happened because of the frustration she felt as Vasquez constantly objected to questions Bredhoff asked, and the judge sustained a fair amount of them, almost to the point that she could barely get a word out. She literally said, quote, I'm trying, throughout this whole trial. It just seemed like every shot she took was a miss. And when most lawyers go through that, they try to use an incentive to perform better. What professional lawyers don't ever do is express their exhaustion out loud. It's wickedly unprofessional and also shows you know you are losing. Number 4, her Today Show appearance. People online are criticizing Bredhoff after she blamed social media for the outcome of the Heard Depp trial. Following the trial outcome, Bredhoff appeared on the Today Show to discuss the trial's outcome with host Savannah Guthrie. During the interview, Bredhoff said that Depp's team was focused on, quote, demonizing Heard and suppressing her legal team's evidence, saying that one of the ways Heard was effectively demonized was through social media. Throughout the trial, Heard faced severe backlash online from Depp's fans. Jurors were not supposed to check social media during the trial, but Bredhoff argued that they went home with their families every day, where it must have been hard not to hear about the latest online arguments. Her interview would have really embarrassed Heard because it got torn to pieces online. Bredhoff made it seem like her defense team was pointing fingers at everyone else besides themselves when it comes to the blame. Number 3, turn on the microphone. Bredhoff also seemed to have a lot of trouble when it came to turning on the microphone. In fact, when addressing the court, she spoke many times and had to be reminded to turn it on. Well, how many times exactly? People paying attention to the entire live stream noticed that Bredhoff had to be told 8 times to turn on her microphone when speaking. In fact, even Heard herself could be seen reaching over in frustration, turning on Bredhoff's microphone for her. It made Heard's defense team appear really incompetent, even with the smallest of things. Number 2, Kate Moss. One of the craziest moments of the trial was the unexpected mention of Kate Moss during Heard's testimony. She made reference to an allegation that Depp had pushed the British model down a flight of stairs during their romance in the 90s. This mention allowed Depp's team to call on Moss to refute the claim, and so Depp's defense team did a fist bump in the courtroom. Depp's team were clearly very happy with this because they knew how Moss would go on to defend Depp and refute Heard's previous claims that he pushed her down the stairs. This moment was a huge win for their team overall, and it just goes to show you how badly Heard's lawyers slipped up here. Number 1, the TMZ Guy. During a testimony from Morgan Tremaine, former TMZ journalist, which established that the celebrity news publication had been able to publish exclusive photos and videos of Heard during the early stages of her contentious divorce from Depp, based on tips it received about her whereabouts. This contradicted the recorded testimony from Heard, saying that she was caught off guard by the presence of the photographers and that she has no idea how TMZ got a hold of the story. Tremaine testified that he dispatched paparazzi to stay outside the Los Angeles courthouse based on an anonymous tip to capture photos of her in 2016, when she filed for a temporary restraining order against Depp. During the cross-examination, Bredhoff said to Tremaine, quote, "This gets you your 15 minutes of fame, doesn't it?" He responded with, quote, "I could say the same thing about you taking Amber Heard as a client." It wasn't just a sick burn, the way he clapped back at Bredhoff was truly an amazing courtroom moment. Thanks so much for watching, be sure to like and subscribe.